Hello, everyone. Coach Carol back again, and I have day 5 of the Essential Genealogist Planner for you. This one is all about illuminating your ancestral stories. So this one is for your Friday. So happy Friday to the genealogy enthusiasts who are in the midst of delving into the art of bringing your ancestors to life. So we're going to identify a key ancestor today and get some starting points for a story. One of the things that you can do is discover one of the more compelling characters in your family's past, someone that you've heard about. Maybe there's some intrigue that you've heard from family lore that's been passed down. And we're going to transform that into a bit of a saga. So look for an ancestor with a unique experience, something that is a little different, or someone who has had a pivotal role in your family history. Could be a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, or a great uncle. And explore any oral histories and family legends for inspiration. Now pay attention to the historical context for this particular ancestor in the era in which they lived, because this will help you uncover their stories. So then you can use a mix of records and resources to do exactly that. So a key ancestor's journey can provide you and your readers with a captivating foundation for your family's narrative. Let's have a look at some of the ways in which I do that. Sharing my screen with you again today. We'll start with my planner that I showed you in the previous video. And this is my plan for Saturday of this week, in the first week of January 2024. I want to finish a story for my great-grandmother. So that's my purpose. I want to put that in place in my messages for this particular ancestor, which will be the beginning chapter of a new volume of my story about the Allery ancestors. And this is to be the first chapter, The New Pattern. And my great-grandmother's name is Jemima Mary Ann Blackburn, who married Samuel John Allery. So I needed a bit of a plan. So back I go to Trello, and I wanted to put in place a little bit about her life, imagining her life as an older mother between the years of 1886 to 1896. These are the years in which she had her children, and she was then 32 when she married. So she was giving birth right into her 40s and into her 40s. I want to look also at the historical events that helped shape her experience. So I'm going to get some help with that from one of my favorite tools, and that is ChatGPT. So over here, I'm in my Family Historian AI writing guide, which is a GPT that I created whilst in ChatGPT 4. You can create these yourself. I've put in my quest for today, which is exactly what I've been iterating to you, that I want to tell the story of my great-grandmother and her experiences as an older mother in the 1880s in England. I've put in place some details about her. This is the start of her profile. And I'm focusing in on those years, 1886 to 1896. So the prompt is explore and create a narrative including significant historical events which help shape her experience as an older mother. So I'll send that message and wait for it to respond. The more information you put here, the better your responses will be. So already it's given me quite a lot to read about the life of Jemima, and it's calling it, ChatGPT is calling it a tale of resilience and motherhood in late 19th century England. So I even have a title for this part, which is ideal. It's included the details that I've given, and then woven in place some of the things about that Victorian era, such as the Industrial Revolution and social transformation, advancements in technology and communication, a growing awareness of women's rights, and all of that would subtly change Jemima's worldview. And so then it goes on to some of the factual evidence that in 1884, at the mature age of 32, her life took a significant turn when she married Samuel John Ellery. And she then began to have her own children. She had 6 sons. And this period was not just a personal milestone for Jemima, but also a time when England was experiencing notable historical events that would leave their mark on society and into family life. So then it separates those into the years that I specified. So in 1886, when her first son was born, there was an undergoing social and economic change, things like urban expansion and societal shifts. Now, this would be very, very useful and relevant to Jemima and her family because she was a tailoress, her husband was a tailor, and so with urban expansion, there was quite an increase in demand for sculptured women's and men's suits. So that would have helped indeed make a difference to their income. She would have witnessed these changes, and here's a thought, perhaps discussing these with her family around the dinner table with her growing family. Oh, and here is something remarkable. In 1888, when her second son arrived, Jack the Ripper was terrorizing London, casting a dark shadow over the city. I hadn't known that until just now when I have heard from ChatGPT. So that puts a whole different spin on what I might be able to tell about how she could have reacted to information in the newspapers about Jack the Ripper. And then by 1890, the birth of her third son coincided with the start of the Sherlock Holmes series by Arthur Conan Doyle. Wonderful. And they certainly might have been a source of intrigue and discussion for Jemima herself and perhaps with others in her household. In 1892, when her fourth son entered the world, the formation of a Liberal government under Gladstone came about. Now that political shift would focus on things like Irish Home Rule, and there would have been quite a number of political discussions in her community at that time. And then by the arrival of her fifth son in 1894, her life paralleled the Tower Bridge's opening in London, a symbol of the engineering marvels of the era. Another important fact, because many of her descendants became engineers. So that's a point I can pick up on. And then by 1896, when her last son was born, this is the era of the first modern Olympics, and they took place in Athens. It finishes up with a motherhood statement, as it often does, and I can change any part of this, but it does actually exemplify her strength and adaptability, raising a large family against a backdrop of dynamic and changing world. Of course, she wasn't the only woman who did this, but she's an important one for me. So you can see how I've begun to build out a new part of her story that I can include now for my great-grandmother, Jemima Mary Ann Ellery, a tale of resilience and motherhood in late 19th century. So do have a go at using AI to help you. If you need help with that, of course, I have some courses for you, and you can see all of those in the links below this video. I hope you have fun in preparing and illustrating and illuminating your ancestral stories with a bit of help from your AI assistant, ChatGPT.